All right, test 1, 2. All right, test 1, 2.
This is test subject 34. She has just been given a substance often described. This is test subject 34. She has just been given a substance often described. This is test subject 34. She has just been given.
Test, test. Hello. Test, test. Hello.
Described as the most powerful psychedelic drug. This is test subject 34. She has just been given a substance often described as the most powerful psychedelic drug in the world. It makes her feel like she's being launched into outer space. Other users report near-death experiences, profound insights, and mythical encounters with spiritual beings. The drug appears to shake the very foundations of human perception.
It is one of the most weird and unexpected things a person can go through.
We're talking about dimethyltryptamine, or DMT. In its pure synthetic form, it looks like an inconspicuous crystalline powder.
It's a very simple molecule.
And yet, DMT has been puzzling scientists around the globe for more than a century. The substance has been used in indigenous cultures for thousands of years. It occurs naturally in plants, animals, and even in the human body. But when it interacts with our brain, things seem to go completely off the rails. Many users say DMT fundamentally changed their lives. And yet, other experiences suggest there's more to DMT than profound revelations, mystical encounters, and medical promise. For some people, the substance can also open doors to the darkest corners of their consciousness. This is the enduring mystery of DMT.
Jeez, this is a fucking banger so far. Holy shit, this is gonna be a good video.
November 1852. This is British botanist Richard Spruce. For the past 3 years, he's been making his way through the Amazon rainforest to study plants. He's particularly interested in mosses. Along the way, he keeps encountering indigenous communities living deep in the jungle. He learns their languages and studies their customs. Right now, Spruce is staying with an indigenous group in what is now northwestern Brazil. Today is a special occasion. The tribe is about to hold a spiritual ceremony, and at the center of it all is this ritual brew. Its key ingredient is a specific type of liana. Indigenous people have been drinking or chewing it for thousands of years. Some groups call it napa, others bako, or pinde. This group calls it kapi. And tonight, Spruce is going to try it himself. He watches several young members of the community drink the mixture before him. He notes that, for about 10 minutes, they appear to be possessed with reckless fury. Then they calm down and simply continue dancing. Then it's his turn. But the tribe didn't just prepare Kapi for him.
I had scarcely dispatched one cup of the nauseous beverage when the ruler of the feast came up with a woman bearing a large calabash of mandioca beer called kashari.
After that, protocol demands that he top things off with a cigar and a cup of palm wine. Spruce has to fight off the urge to vomit and stretches out in a hammock. The Kapi is slowly kicking in. He later notes in his journal that white men taking Kapi all seem to report the same experience.
They feel alternations of cold and heat, fear and boldness. The sight is disturbed, and visions pass rapidly before the eyes, wherein everything gorgeous and magnificent they have heard or read of seems combined, and presently the scene changes to things uncouth and horrible.
Hey, this is Jonas, one of the founders of Fern. It's not just psychedelics that can shape our minds. Our thoughts and emotions are molded by relationships, opportunities, but also uncertainty and major life events. For many in our team, pressures often come.
To Spruce, the brew remains an unsolved mystery. He simply can't figure out which particular substances cause these extreme effects. He's already familiar with opium and cannabis, but Kapi seems to be much more potent. What he doesn't realize is that he's been looking in the wrong place. The plant he sent back to Europe isn't the key ingredient. Technically, it's not the liana or Banisterium kapi that produces the intoxicating effect. The real trigger is a special compound found in the leaves mixed into the brew. DMT, more precisely, N-DMT. Its molecular structure is surprisingly simple compared to other psychedelics. Its complete name is N-dimethyltryptamine, but we'll simply refer to it as DMT throughout this video. German-Canadian chemist Richard Mansk was the first to synthesize the substance in the early 1930s. Back then, he had no idea of its extraordinary psychoactive effects. At its core, DMT is characterized by a nitrogen atom bonded to two methyl groups, hence the name dimethyl. A methyl group consists of one carbon atom bonded to three hydrogen atoms. It's one of the simplest building blocks in organic chemistry. The nitrogen atom is connected via a short carbon chain to the most important part of the molecular structure, the so-called indole ring. The same structural feature can also be found in other known psychedelics like LSD or psilocybin, and within the molecular structure of serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter, a molecule that carries chemical messages or signals between nerve cells. It plays a key role in some of our most essential bodily functions, from mood, sleep, digestion, and nausea, to wound healing and sexual desire. Because of their structural similarity, psychedelics like DMT combine to the same receptors usually used by serotonin.
They're like key locks, and drugs are like specific keys that act on specific key locks. And so these classic psychedelic drugs, with which DMT is one of them, act on specific key locks in the brain, and specifically these serotonin receptors in the brain.
This is Chris Timmerman. He's a neuroscientist and one of the world's leading researchers on DMT. He spends much of his time traveling for research, so we're lucky enough to catch him on a video call. It's likely that DMT was also the main active compound in the brew that Spruce encountered back in the jungle. Today, that mixture is widely known as ayahuasca. To produce it, you mainly need two ingredients. The first one consists of plants that contain
Harmala alkaloids and plants that contain the DMT or just DMT. Boom.
DMT. They grow across large parts of the Amazon basin, though not exclusively there. The second ingredient is the Kapi liana, documented by Spruce. It doesn't contain DMT itself, but it is crucial for making the DMT in the brew psychoactive. Mixing and boiling
It's a monoamine oxidase inhibitor.
the two together produces the psychedelic plant drink known as ayahuasca. Psychedelics are generally considered physiologically safe and non-addictive. That's one of the key differences between them and drugs like cocaine or amphetamines. Those primarily act as stimulants. They artificially increase dopamine and norepinephrine levels in the brain and strongly activate our reward system. Psychedelics, on the other hand, alter perception itself. Users may see or hear things that aren't there, hallucinate, and lose their sense of time and space. Some report life-changing experiences. In many ways, psychedelic substances seem to fundamentally alter how we think and feel, which is precisely why DMT continues to fascinate scientists to this day.
in terms of the psychological impact of the experiences, in terms of the subjective effects it generates, it is one of the most weird and unexpected things a person can go through.
April 19th, 1943, a bike path near Basel in Switzerland. This is Swiss chemist Albert Hoffmann. He works as a researcher for a Swiss pharmaceutical company. Riding next to him is his lab assistant. He explicitly asked her to come along. He's desperately trying to get home. Earlier that day, he started conducting an experiment on himself. He dissolved 250 grams of lysergic acid, diethylamide, in water and ingested it. He had synthesized the compound in the lab after isolating it from the ergot fungus. And right now, he's feeling a bit under the weather.
Everything in my field of vision wavered and was distorted as if seen in a curved mirror. I also had the sensation of being unable to move from the spot. Nevertheless, my assistant later told me that we had traveled very rapidly.
Stretching out on the couch back home doesn't help much either.
My surroundings had now transformed themselves in more terrifying ways. Everything in the room spun around, and familiar objects and pieces of furniture assumed grotesque, threatening forms. They were in constant motion, animated as if driven by an inner restlessness. The lady next door, whom I scarcely recognized, brought me milk. She was no longer Mrs. R, but appeared instead as a malevolent, insidious witch wearing a colored mask.
Albert Hoffmann has just embarked on the world's first LSD trip. He has no idea what the substance does. He believed 250 micrograms to be prudently safe dose, but it turns out to be extraordinarily potent, and now he fears he may lose his mind. A few hours later, the effects slowly begin to soften. The trip becomes more pleasant. As he steps out into his garden after a spring rain, it feels as though he's seeing everything for the very first time.
Everything glistened and sparkled in a fresh light.
From that day on, Hoffmann is convinced that this tiny molecule holds enormous power, that it could someday be of great value to medicine and psychiatry. His discovery jumpstarts the entire field of psychedelic research. Hoffmann inspires many other scientists to follow his lead, and in the 1950s he becomes the first to isolate the psychoactive compound psilocybin from psychedelic mushrooms. That's another major milestone.
Whoa! Did I just see there's a human being here? Shit, you probably already left by now, didn't you? Shit. Chuck Key. Banger. Damn. Definitely gone. Well, shucks. Well, anyways, I'll attempt to give commentary here, but first time, so we'll see.
But psychedelic research also turns its attention to DMT. Scientists discover more and more plants that contain the substance. To date, it has been found in at least 50 different plant species. DMT has also been found in mammals like rats and rabbits. In the 1960s, a German researcher team even found traces of the substance in human blood. Shortly after, U.S. Nobel Prize-winning scientist Julius Axelrod provided evidence that DMT occurs naturally in the human brain. It's even
I'll remember you, first viewer. Crazy shit.
considered endogenous, meaning our own bodies produce it naturally.
There's a saying that says DMT is everywhere, and it is also found in the human body and in a lot of mammals' bodies as well.
You know, I don't fucking believe this shit. That, DMT is found inside of animals, bro. It's out of the human brain. I don't think there's any evidence that's true. At all. I think this is some shit like Joe Rogan perpetuated. It's not fucking true. unfortunately, I mean, we have no way to know, but
Throughout the 1960s, scientists keep isolating DMT in humans, animals, and plants. And meanwhile, psychedelics are starting to seep into popular culture.
How often have you taken LSD?
4 times.
The swinging 60s are the peak years of the hippie movement and psychedelics like LSD. The Cultural Revolution is fueled by activists, intellectuals, and artists alike. One of them is Terence McKenna. He is just studying at Berkeley. He's 18 years old and has already done his fair share of experiments with psychedelics like LSD. But what he is about to experience tonight will eclipse everything he has ever felt. A friend has come to visit and brought this white crystalline powder. He claims it was stolen from a US Army chemical research facility. It's DMT. And for the first time in his life, young Terence McKenna is about to smoke it.
I had this hallucination of tumbling forward into these fractal geometric shapes made of light, and then I found myself in the equivalent of the Pope's private chapel. And there were insect elf machines proffering strange little tablets with strange writing on them. These self-transforming machine elf creatures were speaking in a colored language which condensed into rotating machines that were like Fabergé eggs. All this stuff was so weird and so alien and so un-Englishable that it was a complete shock. I mean, the literal turning inside.
Yo, who's the random that's watching my dumb ass right now? Talking, let's see. Or are they gone also in 2 seconds? Yo, get in chat, my friend. Oh, I think I just saw it go back down to 1. Shucks.
Side out of my intellectual universe. It's like being struck by noetic lightning.
The experience completely changes McKenna's view of life and reality. He becomes convinced that there is another secret world, one we normally can't see or access. He drops out of university to chase this mystery. He travels to Nepal to meet Tibetan shamans. He works as a professional butterfly collector in Indonesia, and he ventures deep into the Colombian jungle with his brother and 3 friends. McKenna's description of the so-called machine elves becomes a cultural reference. Countless DMT users later report encountering mystical entities that closely match what he described. He dies in 2000, leaving behind an extensive audio archive with over 500 hours of theories on psychedelics and spirituality.
A drug like synthetic ayahuasca, pharmawaska, do people realize this is the same thing as has been taken for thousands of years down there? Do they realize its role in shamanic healing?
By the late 1960s, authorities begin cracking down on the widespread drug use in the US.
Well, I mean, if I was to say where I got it from, it's illegal and everything. It's silly to say that.
In 1966, California and Nevada become the first states to outlaw the production.
California? That's surprising. California, the first one to make it illegal. That's not something I would expect.
And sale and possession of LSD. 2 years later, the drug is banned across the entire country.
America's public enemy number 1 is drug abuse.
America's war on drugs soon extends to much of the rest of the world. In 1971, the United Nations adopts the Convention on Psychotropic Substances. Many countries outlaw psychedelic substances and sharply restrict their use, including DMT. From that point on, only a handful of approved scientific institutions are allowed to continue their research on them, and even they have to adhere to extremely strict regulations. For decades, DMT research effectively grinds to a halt.
The whole class of compounds got pulled off the clinical bench, and no research has gone on for 40 years.
One of the tragedies to me is that the clinical research on these substances pretty much stopped around 1970.
Dr. Rick Strassman is a psychiatrist. He's set on bringing psychedelic research back to life. His study is the first attempt to observe the effects of psychedelic substances in humans in the US in over 20 years. He wants to know what DMT does to our mind and body. The participants are numbered. Sarah is subject 34. She's in her early 40s and lives with her second husband. She has 3 children and works as a freelance writer. She has told the researchers that an angel once visited her when she had a high fever as a child, and that every now and then she communicates with spirit guides for advice and support. She also suffers from depression. In her 20s, she overdosed on tranquilizers and was hospitalized for 2 weeks following the suicide attempt. Today, she wants to find out whether DMT can help her gain a deeper understanding of herself and her relationship to the universe. The experiment is set to begin in just a few seconds. The onset of DMT's effects largely depend on how you consume it. Most recreational users smoke DMT using a glass pipe. This makes the effects kick in extremely fast, usually in under 1 minute. The peak experience tends to last only a couple of minutes before wearing off. The smoke tastes unpleasant and can trigger coughing fits. Another substance closely related to N and DMT is called
Regular DMT, it tastes like smoking a tire. Like a car tire. 5-MeO DMT tastes like... kind of tastes similar, but it's not as bad.
5-MeO DMT. This YouTuber smoked it for one of his videos. Others try to consume it like this. 5-MeO DMT occurs naturally in secretions of the Colorado River toad. A common misconception is that licking the toad will get you high. It won't, and it can be extremely toxic. Most research today focuses on synthetic 5-MeO DMT. It also kicks in very fast and strong, but tends to produce far fewer visual hallucinations than N and DMT. DMT can also be snorted. In that case, the effects take a few minutes to kick in, but the trip also lasts a bit longer. Ayahuasca usually contains the highest dose of DMT. The effects begin after around 45 minutes and can last several hours. But the brew is tough on the stomach. Many people have to throw up during the trip. 2 things are paramount for a pleasant DMT experience: set and setting, the right mix of emotional stability and soothing surroundings. Experts recommend a calm environment where users feel safe and are able to lie down comfortably. Mixing substances can be extremely dangerous. Some users avoid alcohol, masturbation, and watching the news before attending an ayahuasca retreat. But not even the best preparation can guarantee DMT won't produce what many call a bad trip. Some users online describe experiences that leave them shaken for days, with flashbacks to vivid hallucinations of falling or flying through tunnels, and encounters with frightening beings. Psychedelics can also worsen existing mental health issues. People who suffer from psychotic disorders or are mentally unstable should not take them. In general, DMT should never be used without professional guidance. Sarah's experience will be guided by Dr. Strassman. In clinical settings like this one, DMT is administered via IV injection. It hits almost instantly. Sarah has previously been given a low introductory dose to see how her body reacts to the substance. Recreational users are advised to start with similar test doses. Sarah's low dose experience has been pleasant and relaxing. Now she's about to receive 5 full doses. She will go on 5 consecutive trips. After each one, Strassman will let her come down to check in with her. She's all set. Sarah can feel the cool touch of Strassman's hand, and she's trying to count her heartbeats.
I got to 3 beats. Then there was a sound, like a hum, that turned into a whoosh. And then I was blasted out of my body at such speed, with such force, as if it were the speed of light. The colors were aggressive, terrifying. I felt as if they would consume me. As if I were on a warp speed conveyor belt heading straight into the cosmic, psychedelic buzzsaw. I was terrified. I felt abandoned. I'm completely and totally lost. I have never been so alone. I was scared, but I kept telling myself, relax, surrender, embrace. It was all flashing and whirling lights. I was rather disappointed. Here I'm expecting this profound spiritual experience, and I get Las Vegas. But then, before I had much time to be disappointed, I flew on and saw clowns performing. They were like toys or animated clowns. I had the overwhelming urge to laugh. I was kind of self-conscious about it at first, but I couldn't contain myself, and I laughed out loud watching those clowns. Suddenly, a pulsating entity appeared in the patterns. It sounds weird to describe it as Tinkerbell-like. It was trying to coax me to go with it. At first I was reluctant, but I did want to go with it. I could tell the drug was starting to wear off. and I wasn't high enough to follow it. I told it I can't go with you now. See, they want me back. It didn't seem to be offended and, in fact, followed me back until I sensed it had reached its boundary. I felt like it was saying goodbye.
Sarah needs a short break. The start of her trip has been especially intense. That's something Timmerman hears from many of his own participants.
People can feel, especially at the beginning of the experience, that they're being launched from a rocket, as if they're like going into outer space and they're in a rocket. And so there's a strong feeling of energy and vibrations in their body. They are interacting with beings, spirits, entities, gestures, clowns, a range of different ways in which people see these beings that interact with the participants, that they engage with them, invite them to do something, to communicate, and so forth and so on.
Encounters with such beings seem to be a common experience in many DMT trips. For one of his studies, Timmerman analyzed nearly 4,000 DMT experiences posted on Reddit. Almost half mentioned similar entity encounters. In a 2021 field study with 36 participants, almost everyone reported an encounter with some sort of sentient being. But how do these encounters actually unfold? That's what Baltimore's Johns Hopkins University asked over 2,500 DMT users in an online survey. The first question was about the primary senses involved in the encounter. Most participants reported seeing them, and more than half described hearing them. About a third said they could touch them, while some could even smell or taste them. A whopping 85% described their encounter as extrasensory or telepathic. The most common descriptive labels for the entities were beings, guides, spirits, aliens, and helpers. Less common labels were clowns, demons, gnomes, monsters, or devils. As to the emotions involved, most participants reported feelings of love, trust, and joy. Only a minority experienced fear. 11% believed they had encountered religious figures, meaning some people think they saw God in these beings.
This is what some of the research has found, and some people have reported that. And it is interesting because, in a way, God is a personification of these spiritual or mystical-like qualities according to certain religions, and it seems that DMT stimulates those sort of experiences.
DMT appears to have a significant impact on people's religious beliefs and their sense of spirituality. This study surveyed users who reported so-called God encounter experiences during psychedelic trips. 25% described them as atheists before their trip, meaning they didn't believe in God. Afterwards, their number dropped to just 7%. Among ayahuasca users, atheist identification declined from 12 to 3%. Sarah, too, is deeply moved by these encounters. She's about to receive her final injection.
I went directly into deep space. They knew I was coming back. They told me there were many things they could share with us when we learn how to make more extended contact. Again, they wanted something from me, not just physical information. They were interested in emotions and feelings. I told them, we have something we can give you, spirituality. I guess what I really meant was love. I tried to figure out how to do this. I felt a tremendous energy, brilliant pink light with white edges, building on my left side. I knew it was spiritual energy and love. They were on my right, so I reached out my hands across the universe and prepared to be a bridge. I let this energy pass through me to them. I said something like, see, there I did it for you. You have it. They were grateful. I was coming down off the DMT, losing altitude.
Sarah didn't expect to become what she called an earthly spiritual emissary during her trip. She doesn't feel comfortable with that role, but has done her best to live up to it. Now it's the next participant's turn, number 35. Over the course of 5 years, Strassman observes hundreds of these trips. He administers about 400 doses of DMT to 60 volunteers. He eventually calls DMT the spirit molecule, because of the spiritual and metaphysical experiences it appears to induce. Strassman's work in the 1990s was groundbreaking research, but it also raised more questions than it could answer. Since then, many neuroscientists have picked up where he left off. So what's actually happening inside our brain when we take DMT? Modern neuroscience suggests that our brain has a hierarchical modular organization. Modular means that certain nerve cells work together in different types of clusters or brain networks, specialized in specific functions. There appears to only be a limited amount of communication between these networks. Hierarchical means that higher order areas, like the prefrontal cortex, collect signals from different areas across the brain to coordinate appropriate responses. But that entire organization seems to pretty much collapse when our brain is on DMT. The key players here are these special serotonin receptors. They determine how sensitive neurons react to incoming signals. That, in turn, impacts how information is transmitted and processed within and across brain regions. When DMT binds to these receptors, the brain's usual top-down control mechanisms become less effective. It's like the neurochemical reins come off. One of the experts we talked to thinks DMT makes the brain become more democratic. Another calls it anarchy. Either way, the brain suddenly enters a state in which far more areas communicate with each other than usual. Scientists call this global hyperconnectivity. It's completely different from how the brain normally operates. But how does this explain these extremely vivid hallucinations? Why do some users feel as if they're entering an entirely different reality? One explanation is that the brain sort of disconnects from external information. In this paper, Chris Timmerman proposes that DMT disrupts the brain's normal way of processing sensory input. The technical term is functional deafferentation.
It's a state of disconnected consciousness. We're disconnected from the external.
Hey, is anybody watching right now? I know this is boring. Try my best here, though. So, yeah. Just kidding. Anyways.
The environment individuals feel.
Instead, the brain shifts into a completely new state, a kind of internal simulation.
They report that they are in an immersive world of experience.
But where does this other world come from? One clue to unravel this mystery could be dreaming. All those weird things that happen in our dreams seem similar to what people describe on DMT.
They are disconnected from their immediate environments, and their own brains and the organism as a whole is reconstructing an alternative world of experience. It's very similar to what happens during DMT experiences.
Timmerman and colleagues found that the strongest rhythms of theta waves in the brain correlate with the peak of a DMT trip. The same patterns are found during REM sleep. He writes that a DMT trip is like dreaming with your eyes open, except that DMT trips are usually far more intense and vivid than normal dreams. Neuroscientist Andrew Gallimore has a theory about why that is. In our dreams, the brain sort of rebuilds our real-life experiences, drawing on established patterns of information. But on DMT, those familiar templates come undone. Everything becomes more open, chaotic, and unpredictable.
It's like you're seeing the world anew, like you've never seen it before. Your brain, you haven't decided what you're seeing. And coupled with this increased sensitivity to sensory information, the world becomes transcendent. It becomes much more vivid.
Which brings us to one of the wildest DMT experiences of all, encountering spiritual entities or sentient beings. There are different theories about these types of encounters. One study examined how these two brain regions behave under the influence of DMT. These areas are essential for recognizing social cues and processing the emotional dynamics of human interaction.
So when we have our normal experiences and we interact with our partners or co-workers, our sons and daughters, these same systems also start engaging in the brain.
In turn, these areas become active when we try to understand someone else's thoughts and feelings, or more specifically, when we try to distinguish their mental state from our own.
So right now we're working with a hypothesis based on what we found, that in essence what DMT does, it engages parts of what we call social cognition, the ways in which we build up our relationships in the world.
In the hyperconnected DMT brain, these two regions engage far more intensely with each other and with other areas.
And so we believe that that enhances or pronounces or enables the appearances of these beings or entities. It's almost as if we simulate those social relations.
Put simply, the brain massively ramps up its resources for processing social signals. And that could explain why so many DMT users encounter these entities or beings. Another key to understanding the substance could be just how similar DMT trips seem to feel to so-called near-death experiences. Such experiences can occur during traffic accidents, suicide attempts, and cardiac arrests. Many report a sense of brightness, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, losing track of time and space, or gaining insight into some ultimate truth.
The features that are similar to the near-death experiences and the DMT experiences are that feeling that many people have that they're they have reached a sort of boundary or a limit of where they can go in this alternate reality or universe.
Timmerman thinks these near-death experiences could also be linked to global hyperconnectivity.
That is such a big transformation of the mind, such a big transformation of the brain, that it is likely that the brain is sending a signal that it's dying, that it is being transformed beyond recognition.
In other words, there's so much going on in the brain during a DMT trip that the brain blows all of its fuses. It basically thinks it's dying. And yet, there's one major difference between DMT trips and near-death experiences.
DMT is more visual, and near-death experiences are more disembodied.
Then again, near-death experiences are also far from being fully understood. This makes it even harder to draw reliable scientific conclusions with regard to DMT. Back in the 90s, Rick Strassman proposed a bold hypothesis that the spirit molecule, DMT, might be released during crucial life events like birth, death, or profound mystical experience.
I don't believe this. I have absolutely zero. I don't believe this at all. I think people just invented this theory without any actual scientific studies or backing at all. Does this go to any actual studies or shows? It's a great video, but
experiences. Today, there is strong evidence suggesting that DMT is produced naturally in mammalian brains. Scientists are still investigating why that is. Early findings suggest that DMT release in the brain correlates with a massive surge of stress hormones. One experiment with lab rats showed a significant increase in DMT levels following cardiac arrest. Another study suggests that releasing DMT in the brain could also have a protective function. The compound appears to activate a receptor that helps brain cells survive oxygen deprivation and oxidative stress. So DMT might as well be a kind of built-in emergency medication for life-threatening situations. And a very recent study suggests that DMT levels in our brain might be much higher than previously assumed, and that it may be involved in a number of physiological processes. So here's what we know so far. DMT occurs naturally in plants, mammals, and humans. It's even considered endogenous, meaning our own bodies may produce it. We also know that when on DMT, our brain seems to be far more interconnected, that it activates so many different areas that it can feel like entering an entirely different world, one where we can communicate with all sorts of otherworldly beings. And in some cases, our brain gets so overwhelmed by this hyperconnected state that it thinks it's dying. But all of this is just the beginning. Early clues, hypotheses, and indications. Nothing more and nothing less. Most of the questions DMT poses to science are still wide open. For now, DMT remains a vast, unsolved mystery. We still don't fully understand how it creates such vivid hallucinations. We don't really know why our own body produces it, and we certainly don't understand how 50 milligrams of this tiny molecule can reshape entire lives in just 20 minutes. We're back in the Amazon rainforest, about 170 years after Richard Spruce. Once again, a British researcher is attending an ayahuasca ceremony. But things are different this time. Simon Ruffle is not a botanist, he's a psychiatrist. Unlike Spruce, he knows exactly what active compound he's dealing with. For the past decade, he's been studying ayahuasca to explore its potential role in healing trauma, like PTSD in war veterans. But so far, the number of participants has been too small for conclusive results, and some of them feel their mental health has worsened after the ayahuasca experience. But others show first signs of improvement. In some participants, Ruffle has observed significant reductions in depression and anxiety outcomes. Timmerman has seen similar indicators in his own research. His theory:
depressed individuals tend to think that they are worthless individuals, that they are unlovable, for example. They adopt beliefs that are no longer useful for them. What DMT does, it acts on these brain mechanisms that are related to that sense of self and dynamically can change it in a lasting way.
Some studies suggest that meditation and other mindfulness-based practices could offer positive effects that are similar to those of psychedelic experiences. But research on that is also just beginning. Chris Timmerman will continue to explore DMT's medical use, but he's also looking to unravel an even bigger mystery: human consciousness itself.
I'm particularly interested in using DMT to help us understand how we construct our usual worlds of experience.
He's chasing the same secret that made Terence McKenna set out about 60 years ago.
The world that we see out there is not necessarily the same world that is truly out there. We as human beings, our brains, construct that world. I'm interested in using DMT to help us understand that construction.
I mean, it was a good video. I had a lot of the pseudoscience bullshit about how DMT is produced in your brain, or we have DMT inside of us, or whenever you die and whatnot, but it was a cool looking video, I guess. I'm looking for a video right now. It looks like there's 0 people watching, but if someone's watching, recommend something, I'll watch it. Hell, I'll join a video call with somebody. YouTube's fucking algorithm sucks ass right now for no reason.
Vaping is kind of amazing. Finally, a less bad alternative.
I don't consume nicotine in any way, so I don't know why I'm watching this. So, how meth is killing Europe? Yo, I might not vape, but just kidding. Just kidding. These all my fucking videos are about drugs right now.
alternative to smoking. It delivers one of the most popular drugs in the world, nicotine. It may improve your attention, concentration, memory, reaction time, and endurance. It can reduce anxiety and stress and help you relax and enhance your mood. Nicotine also suppresses hunger, making it easier to maintain or lose weight. And it's simply fun to put a thing in your mouth and get a little kick. Compared to other stimulants, nicotine's effect doesn't come at the same high price for our bodies. It's also crystal clear that vaping is way less harmful than smoking. Smoking delivers, well, hot smoke and extremely toxic particles directly into your lungs, causing serious damage all over your body right away. But we'll purely focus on nicotine vapes in this video. Okay, sure, nicotine is one of the most addictive substances we know, but vaping on its own seems kind of okay. So, is it really that bad if you do it? Well, we should find out quickly. While in the West, smoking is slowly falling out of fashion, especially among teens, vaping has become a growing epidemic. In 2023 in the UK, 20% of children had tried vaping at least once. In the US, 8% of all students are currently vaping regularly. 1 in 4 of them do it daily, and almost all of them use vapes with flavors. So how does vaping work, and what does it do to your body? How does vaping work? A vape is basically a small tank of liquid heated up by a metallic coil that vaporizes it. The major ingredient in most vape juice is propylene glycol and glycerol, the main chemicals in smoke machines, which are also used in countless chemical processes. From food like candy and baking mixes to cosmetics, paints or plastics. Then there are the nicotine salts containing the magic and dozens of different flavor molecules. When you pull on a vape, the metal coil heats up and turns the liquid into the vapor you inhale. Vapor sounds kind of nice, harmless and pleasant, but vapes don't produce actual vapor, but a heated mist of aerosol, a warm, sticky substance made out of large molecules and microscopic particles mixed with air. The best thing to compare it to is inhaling warm body spray. When you take a hit, billions of aerosol particles cover your mouth and tongue, making you taste pleasant stuff and enter into your lungs. They reach your alveoli, little air sacs where the breathing happens. Here, the nicotine passes into your bloodstream and is transported into your brain to cause all the pleasant effects. And here, the complications begin. What's actually in your vape? The scary answer is that we don't really know. Studies found that vape liquids can be thousands of very different mixes of many dozens of substances. The majority were not even mentioned on the label. This seems almost unbelievable, but the vaping industry is much less regulated than you'd think. We know that many official substances in vapes are technically safe. Kinda. They're used in cosmetics, medicine or food and have been extensively tested. Most are safe to eat or put on your skin. But that's not the same as breathing them in. Cinnamaldehyde found in cinnamon oil kills cells and causes genetic damage when inhaled. Benzaldehyde found in almonds or apples has a fruity taste and is common in cherry, berry, chocolate or mint-flavored vapes. As a gas, it irritates the respiratory tract. What's worse is that we don't know what many substances in vape juice do if heated up. The longer you inhale and the hotter the coil gets, the more chemicals in the juice change. Molecules merge or break down, creating new compounds with unknown consequences. When propylene glycol and glycerol are heated too much, they decompose and turn into harmful molecules. This can happen when the liquid runs out or the coil gets too hot. You'll probably notice this because your vape will taste weird or burnt. If this happens, you should stop right away. And it gets worse. When the metal coil is heated up, it releases metal particles. Studies found aluminium, boron, calcium, iron, copper, magnesium, zinc, lead, chromium, nickel and manganese in the vapor, all of which vary from really bad news to straight up toxic and can cause lung irritation, chronic bronchitis and shortness of breath in the short term. Nickel can also cause cancer when breathed in. All of these mystery substances also interact with each other in new and exciting ways. In bad ways? We don't know yet. What do we know about the health effects of vaping? What does vaping do in your body? The elephant in the room is that we don't know exactly how bad vaping is, since it's only been around for about 10 years. Also, Most studies on health effects in humans focused on smokers who switched to vapes. We do know for sure that smoking is orders of magnitude more harmful. If you smoke, switching to vaping will reduce your risk of disease massively. If you smoke, please switch to vaping. But these studies also muddy the water a bit. What if you never smoked and started to vape? In the short term, a significant portion of vapers develop poor breathing symptoms, coughing, extra mucus production, shortness of breath, wheezing, throat and chest pain. But the truth is, we simply don't know what will happen in the long term. The first larger-scale study on vaping with non-smokers only started in...
This video is cool, but let's watch clavicular OD on meth and fentanyl. I think that'd be cooler. Look at him hit that fucking 5-hour energy, dude. Goddamn.
Is there a trash can around here? I'm 5. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Sorry. I'm trying my best to lock in, but I'm a little destroyed right now.
I'm from
We're all destroyed right now, bro. He's fucking getting Jester Maxed. Holy shit. No.
from Brazil.
Brazil.
I'm Brazil. I'm speaking English also, but what's your question? You speak Portuguese?
Yeah.
Portuguese.
Holy shit, dude. I'm trying my best, but fucking destroyed right now. Alright, have a good rest of your day. Take care.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.
He didn't get her number. What? Okay.
Holy fuck. Oh my god.
You're Brazilian, bro. That was all you.
Yeah,
bro.
dude.
Brazilian.
Who?
That was 10 out of 10. Stacy, Brazilian.
Okay.
You should get her number.
I need water? Probably.
Get her number. Get her number. Get her number. Hold him down.
Holy fuck. What's up, man? How are you? What's up, man? Holy fuck. What's it say? 100%. Get no pussy?
Dude, I'm trying to cool the poach like you.
Alright.
Thank you.
Take care.
Let it go, bro.
Nice to meet you. How are you, man? What's up, brother?
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Oh my god. Alright, take care, bro.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Can you take it?
Can I take it? Sorry, I can't even. I'm absolutely gone. Holy fuck.
Oh my god, Clavicular is the worst person to be high around. Jesus.
Oh shit. Thank
Holy
you.
shit. Take care. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm having a great time right now. Oh my god. Holy shit. Let me go sit somewhere. What's up, guys? Where's somewhere I can sit down for a second? Oh yeah, upstairs? Oh my god. Oh fucking hell. Oh my god, man. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Yeah, I'm having a good time. Holy fuck. Oh my god, yeah. No, I'm having a good time.
He says in public, high as fuck on meth and fentanyl. Who would... What all did this dude do? Give me a moment. Jesus Christ, why is everything fucking paywalled? Meth, Adderall, pregabalin, fentanyl, and Molly. Okay.
Tap. Holy fuck. Yeah, let me go sit somewhere. Holy fuck. Let's go sit down right here. Oh yeah? Oh my god. Oh my god. Holy fuck.
How fucked are you?
What?
How fucked up are you?
Dude, I'm gone.
Like scoops of water, ice water.
Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, what's this
Drink a little
shit?
water here. Drink a little water.
Holy fuck.
Holy me.
Dude.
How do you feel?
Jesus, did you see that? Wait, is my camera in the way? Wait. Wait a minute. Look at this dude. Look at him hit a fucking blinker. Holy shit. Look at this. Wait, it's 409. It's 409. $4.15. That's a 6. Maybe not a blinker, but a 6 fucking second hit. Jesus.
When did you last take blue? You want natty? You want natty?
This fucking guy said, "Do you want an Addy?" Jesus fucking Christ. This guy said he need an Addy, bro, when he's fucking overdosing on fucking fentanyl. Jesus.
You want an natty?
Number one worst friend ever right here. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh my god.
Too much Jester maxing, guys. Damn. Good God.
Secretary, you've made a number of outlandish and frankly disturbing comments both before and during your tenure as Secretary of Health and Human Services. I want to draw your attention to one of those times. In a 2024 podcast interview, you suggested that black children on ADHD medication should be reparented. You said every black kid is now just standardly put on Adderall, SSRI, benzos, which are known to induce violence, and that those children are going to have to go somewhere to get reparented. There is a lot to unpack in that comment. I know that you already answered several of the questions I was going to ask, and so I'm just going to rephrase them. Mr. Secretary, you've already admitted that you are not board-certified physician, and you've already admitted that you did not go to medical school. Have you ever reparented, or parented, I should say, a black child?
I don't even know what that phrase means, and I doubt
that. Yes or no answer.
I doubt that I said that phrase. No,
absolutely.
Not going to answer.
No, at that age, he was too busy doing fucking heroin. Fucking worthless.
Answer something that I didn't say.
You absolutely said it.
I'd like to hear the recording.
So to be clear,
it doesn't make any sense. I don't even know what it means.
I don't either. That's why I'm asking.
And by the way,
so to be clear, you're not a doctor, you have no medical degree, and you have no formal medical training.
Does maybe have a link to this? It sounds that sounds pretty wild.
My Peace Corps program is going to be wellness farms, rehabilitation facilities that I'm going to start in rural areas all over the country where any American can go for free. Any of them who is dependent on drugs, either legal drugs or illegal drugs. Psychiatric drugs, which every black kid is now just standard put on Adderall, SSRIs, benzos, which are known to induce violence. And those kids are going to have a chance to go somewhere and get reparented, to live in a community where there'll be no cell phones, no screens, you'll actually have to talk to people. And the model for this is a community that I had direct contact with because a family member of mine went there, and it's called San Padrinanos in Italy. That community is a 10,000 acre farm.
Yeah, I feel like it's not quite as racist as me, kind of, sort of, not really, but it's just, Jesus Christ.
And they grow organic foods, and the kids eat very, very good food for the first time in their lives.
We're going to send them back out to the fields, bro.
To take black children away from their families and reparent them and send them off to some wellness farm instead of providing them with evidence-based.
You're just making stuff up.
I am absolutely not making this up.
She said
Mr. Secretary, in your opinion, what factors should the federal government consider?
Bro, I never said that. The classic, bro. I never heard about that.
When reparenting a black child who has been on ADHD or ADD.
I don't even know what you're talking about, Congressman. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what reparenting means.
I don't either, but you said that.
I did not say
Mr. Secretary, for black families in the United States, the issue of family separation is not new. Our nation has a long and painful history of separating black children from their families. During slavery, black children were taken from their parents and sold with no regard for their humanity. And after slavery, black families continued to face forced separations through Jim Crow laws, discriminatory policing, and child welfare systems that too often assumed that black parents were unfit. Even today, black children are removed from their homes at higher rates than white children, not because of their greater harm, but because of long-standing bias and built-in institutionalism. For you to suggest that black families are not capable of raising their own children is deeply offensive. Sir, you are the Secretary of Health and Human Services for the world's most powerful country, and your words matter. When you suggest that reparenting black children, when you sow doubt about the safety of vaccines, and when you promote unproven statements that have no basis in science, you endanger the lives of everyone across this nation. Those children have parents, and to suggest that they have to be reparented is offensive.
I never suggested that.
Your words matter. When those words are careless, communities pay the price. When your words are...
It's got a random text from somebody that says, "Hello, it feels like time is flying by." Oh my god, I got a second viewer alert. Holy shit, are you still there? They all run away. They all run away too quick. Are you there? Announce yourself in chat, my friend. Chuck Key was the first one.
imprecise, they create confusion. And when your words are dismissive, they cause real harm. So you don't have the pleasure, because of your position, to speak first and think later. not in this job and not
Wait,
because of your
something I
responsibility.
supposedly
I
said in
expect, and the
2014.
American people expect, that you choose your words with sincereness
2024,
and
but-
with seriousness, the seriousness that your position demands. American lives are at stake, and it's time that you start acting like it, sir.
Classic fucking RFK being retarded. Classic. Second viewer did not announce themselves. Damn. What to watch, my friends?
Do you think he does nothing? Do you think the school could run without a president? If we live in a greedy capitalist society, which you probably agree do, appeal to this about economics.
But like, the deflection.
Hey, hello, hello.
I cannot hear you. I got.
Yeah, we're not watching that. What's Hassan up to? Maybe just talk about all the big streamers and you can pretend that you're in the big leagues already. Is he streaming right now? Don't think he is.
He is just an unstable moron.
Yep, other guy left. Damn. How unfortunate.
My time to beat is 3 minutes 33 seconds. I can't remember the world record, but it's around a minute 30. You can see it up here.
Two cigarette, 2 beer, 2 cigarette, guys.
Here. Will I beat that? Who knows, but I'm hoping for under 2 minutes. Also, the up top camera is dead, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Anyway, let's do this.
What's he doing? You can be smoking the cigarette and they're doing the Rubik's Cube at the same time.
Let's take down.
Warriors is so good that he only needs to do 1 cigarette before he can do both of the Rubik's Cube.
Baby. 1 minute and 28 seconds.
Jesus.
Just to confirm, I'm proud to have my record back. Once again, I nominate Yi Heng Wang. Have a good one, y'all.
Brendan, we're here in the Fishworks lab. Sorry for screaming, it's very loud in here with the air conditioners and servers all around me. We just made an interesting discovery and we thought we'd show you straight away. So over here I'm measuring disk I/O operations broken down by latency. I've also drilled down to disk I/O operations taking at least 520 milliseconds broken down by disk. This is using dtrace so I can do performance analysis of disks. I'm applying a write workload to 2 JBODs, which are over here. The lights are blinking on these JBODs because they're doing work. What I'm going to do is not recommended. This is not supported. Do not try this at home. Ah! Ah! This is not special effects, this is real. What we're looking at here is the effect of disc vibration. Vibration is a serious issue, and we can see the effect here that it's caused. So here, the latency for the discs that are under the workload has gone up. Here I can see which discs have now had I/O operations longer than 500 milliseconds, and I can find out that they belong to the JBODs I was just shouting at. So, amazing stuff. This has been made possible by analytics from Fishworks, which lets us look.
Well, it looks like no one is here, but it was fun being here. I don't think I'm gonna get any good clips out of this, but it's definitely something that isn't. It's finally a first step, so I'm pretty happy about that. Anyone here right now? No? Well, bye-bye.